revenue is up 30%. So not only is our customer acquisition cost down, our revenue's up. And this is in a year. Again, let me just remind everybody, we're in a year where boating is down right now. The boating industry is in a down year, actually a down 2 years. So down and down. And it's really rough for some companies out there. They are all shrinking. Anchor is growing.
Great. Well, I've got Zach here. Zach is the founder and CEO of Anchor Rides. And in this short interview, we're just going to be talking about SEO, some of his SEO results and SEO strategies and kind of what it takes to be good at SEO. So we'll kind of jump in. Zach, if you wanted to start, can you tell us a little bit about Anchor Rides, your history as a business owner and all that? It's kind of an interesting company. So
Yeah, sure. So Anchor started after my best friend was killed in a tragic boating accident. The idea was to keep boat renters safe with a captain on board at all time. I actually started a business before this one that just hired sober captains for the boat and then ended up buying a boat and chartering the boat. And then that evolved into my boat breaking down and borrowing my neighbor's boat. And then that evolved into, well, we should just do this boat sharing type um, model. And we have gone from just a small little operation during the summer at Lake of the Ozarks to a now global 10,000 plus boat fleet, hundreds of destinations, serving both day and term charters worldwide, essentially. So yeah, basically you can jump on anchorrides.com, search and find a boat with or without a captain, and book for a single day or half a day, or actually book a yacht charter vacation. And you're searching the lowest prices, the most accurate prices. Pretty cool website we've built, and we've just built so many other tools in the back end to help keep people safe on the water, and make sure that they're doing compliant, legitimate charters and not just booking from some broker off of Facebook or out of, at the marina in certain cases. And they're actually going through like a real safe portal and environment.
awesome. Yeah, you've mentioned it's a little bit like Airbnb, kind of like Airbnb for boats.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah, it's like Airbnb for boats. That's a really popular way to put it. It's very close to that. With us, there's an added element of the operator, the captain, and crew. But yeah, you are able to connect on Anchor with direct with private owners and large scale fleet operators, which is no different than Airbnb. Sometimes you're connecting with a host who owns the home, and other times you're connecting with their property manager or somebody else who manages a lot of properties. So same thing with Anchor. But yeah, absolutely the Airbnb of the sea, if you will.
nice, nice. So I kind of, I met you at rugby, rugby practice, funny enough. And when I met
Yep.
you, you were already doing some SEO, and I think I just popped a message in the chat and asked. You were doing SEO, actually. I know that for a matter of fact. And I popped a message in the chat, and I just kind of asked, "Hey, is anyone looking for any help with SEO potentially?" Um, yeah, I just wanted to hear a little bit more about one, what was your experience with SEO up to that point? Because you guys had already kind of been putting work, and then kind of what led up to you actually, wanting to respond to that message and maybe get some more help.
Yeah. So our experience, admittedly, and my personal experience was very limited with SEO. It was not a strategy we took very seriously right up front, right? So a strategy we took really seriously right up front was pay per click because the results are instantaneous. And we're in a very transactional industry. It started dawning on me when I took a look. I don't know what tool I used, but I looked at my competitors' traffic on their website and I asked my marketing team, like, how is that? How is there such a differentiation? How is Anchor getting this much traffic, and my competitors getting 10x and even bigger than 10x the traffic I am? And they said, well, yeah, you spend a lot on PPC, but they're getting a lot of organic traffic. So that was really the extent. That's what like prompted it and started it. Just kind of taking a look at how much traffic my competitors getting. And then started taking it a little bit more seriously as we started getting some little results, right? And that traffic started to increase in certain cities. So take Tampa, for example, a city that we are very big in, Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater, and we started getting some ranking in the yacht rental, one keyword, and wow, our business started increasing in that market. So there was a direct correlation between that. So that was our experience prior to really investing in SEO at scale. And as you know now, it's a much higher priority for us. Uh, PPC still, is a big part of our strategy. It has to be and it will be. But SEO definitely rivals it when it comes to is on the hierarchy or priority list.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember when I joined you. Yeah, you guys had already had some pretty surprisingly good rankings in Tampa, and you guys were creeping up in a few different locations. I remember, yeah, you guys had position one in Tampa, which is one of those big markets.
For the yacht rental keyword, which is 1/8 of the size of the boat rental keyword, right? So that's what we looked at. We said, look, they're ignoring this keyword. Okay. And that's what we're good at. We were good at the higher end. We don't do really, we didn't do like too much boat rental per se. And so we were really the yacht category. And during COVID, yachting, getting on a yacht became more popular, like super popular. And
Mhm.
even today, it's in rap songs and all kinds of stuff. It's a cool, fun thing to do. So we looked at where our competitors weren't. And now we're taking fight to them on the higher and harder, higher volume, harder to compete keywords like boat rental. And that's what we've been working on lately. And we're having a lot of success doing that too. So yeah, it's really exciting. Um, and yeah, I'll tell you, it is transformative for a business when you don't do any marketing and then you start marketing and then you start marketing and then you take marketing really seriously. So yeah, very, very exciting where we have come over the last year and excited even more at where we're going to go in the next year. So yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And something like that too, having a ranking like Tampa, I imagine. I mean, that's just that's been constant, just constant bookings coming without having to spend a dollar on ads or anything like that. So
It's like a stock that pays a dividend.
yeah,
And that's kind of how I look at it. Is like, yeah, we're there and we invested and we got there. And sure, we have to put a little bit of effort into it here and there, but it holds long term and it yields results month after month after month after month after month. And it's just compounding effect of the money we had to invest in it. And that is again, I think you can look at PPC as like a direct ROAS. Like I'm putting X amount of dollars in. How much am I getting in return from it? You can even do that in the same month. And there's your measurement. Is my PPC effective? Maybe over 2 months, depending on what your sales cycle is. But for me, SEO is a lot harder to give a tangible number to when you're looking at, well, I've put X amount of dollars in every month and now I'm churning out this much 6 months down the road or a year down the road. Some of these journeys are longer than others. But what's really important, and to me, a huge metric is the lifetime value of customers, right? So and when you calculate the lifetime value of a customer, you have to know the first time that customers book, how much money you make, right? Do you make anything? Some people lose money on the first transaction. What's your rebooking rate? How often are they rebooking? And then what's their lifetime value in your company? So do they come in once and transact one time? Okay, if that's the case, you better be making a good return on your first transaction. But if they keep coming back, then you have to calculate a much higher return on that customer, right? On each customer too. So knowing the lifetime value of a customer is a lot like knowing there's some metaphor in there that I'm not putting my finger directly on, but there is some similarity to the lifetime value of your SEO. It's like, sure, I plugged in, let's just say 5 grand, 5 grand, 5 grand, 5 grand every month. And I'm just throwing out a number. But is it coming back? Well, at first it might not. But in the future, it's going to come back in dividends, right? It's going to come back compounding, compounding, compounding. And it's really exciting to scale your business up that way. And a business like ours, doesn't make we make some money on the first transaction, yes, but we make our money long term as people repeat book and not just book with us in one city, but multiple cities. And so it's exciting to see that rebooking rate go up. It's exciting to see the customer lifetime value numbers go up. It's exciting to see each market in and of itself when we uh, uh, zero in on each market, growth within those markets, knowing good and well that the boating market is down this year. Our industry is down. We're up. So that's a huge thing for us. And I think that's a testament to the investment we've put in marketing, advertising, as well as other categories of the business too. It's not like we're just focused on marketing. That's it. So, but a big part of it is we're getting the traffic that we weren't getting before.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And that is kind of one interesting thing about SEO. It's like, let's say you're paying $1,000, for your SEO every month, right? That first month, even if let's say your traffic increases 5% every month. And let's say in that first month, that 5% traffic increase means you're getting an additional $1,000 in revenue, you're barely breaking even, in that first month. But then when you scale that up, if you keep on getting an additional $1,000 of revenue every month for, let's say, 36 months, right? Then you're making $36,000 more per month and you're still paying that $1,000 per month. So you're totally right. It's kind of one of those things where it might not make any sense for like the first 3 months, 6 months, but as long as you can see the improvement, then eventually,
Compounding interest.
yeah.
You say like put $200 aside if you start when you're 20 years old and you put $200 aside. I don't know the exact number because I didn't save as a young person. I was too
I should have too.
I said, let's start this business and throw my life savings into it. But if you start when you're 20 and you put $200 in a savings, compounding interest savings account, and when you're 50 or 60, you're going to have $3 million. But if you don't start until you're 25, you're only going to have $2 million. And if you don't start until you're 30, you're only going to have a million. And it's just like, whoa, the difference of in the investment, the capital investment you made is small. It's like, well, it's only $200, 2,400 bucks a year. That's 24,000. So I only invested 75,000 less starting 10 years later. But the compounding interest effect didn't take place. And therefore, you're now $2 million shy of your $3 million goal. So I think of it as like compounding interest. And we said this on a meeting the other day. Said if I could restart my business on year zero, which I never call year one, year zero, I would start investing in SEO right away, consistently in cities I didn't even have any inventory in. I would start that early. Why? Because the second we hit rank, we start getting other results. We don't just get renters, we get boat owners, we get people to join our program, we get captains, we get all of these things, and it grows the business in other immeasurable ways. So I said that the other day. I mean it. I would start spinning up landing pages. I always thought that was a crazy theory. And now that I've lived it, I know it to be true. So yeah, the earlier you can start, I think, the better. Even if you have a small local business, get number one on Google My Business. If you're thinking about starting a second location, I don't know, cheat your way into a second location on Google My Business and start spinning it up. I'm literally talking like life hacks that way. So yeah, it's
I
funny how
completely agree. Like imagine being a plumber and before you even open your plumbing business, you have a GMB ranked on number one, and then you're getting 150 phone calls looking for a plumber. Then all of a sudden, you don't have to start with small rates and hire people quickly. You can literally be like, okay, what's the best pricing structure? The leads are coming in for free, So
yeah,
it's really
I'm not. I know we're on a call where we're here to discussing your business, but I'm dead serious. That would be my strategy if I had to hit reset. Start SEO immediately, spinning up landing pages, even if it had fake inventory, any of that. I'd hack my way to the top right away, get the traffic. That's how I'd spend my money, and that there's nobody who would change my mind about it.
that's how I would too. And even now, I feel like we're starting to really hit some momentum with results. But just based on what we laid the groundwork for, I mean, I honestly think next in 1 year will be like we'll be probably 5x, right? It's not like it doubles. And I can't imagine too if we had started this. I mean, you guys were already doing stuff, but if we had imagined the same level of aggression that we've had in the last year, if we had that for even 2 years, like before even expanding to
Yeah,
locations, it'd be crazy.
yeah. I've been chasing two giants for a long time. Um, and these companies are no joke, right? Big budgets, big money, smart people. And we've been chasing these giants, and we think, we're a little bit smaller, but we do things in a unique way, and we're excited about the way we do things, and we think we give a unique perspective to the boat rental marketplace. Um, and I'll tell you, if we had started earlier, I am fairly confident we would have already surpassed our competitors, which were, at least this next closest one was 4 times our size. That was the last time I saw some numbers. They were 4 times our size. I don't think they're 4 times our size now. I think we've gained a little ground, but had we got out ahead of it early, your anchor would be possibly number one or a number two. And you're talking the difference in millions of dollars at the bottom line, the difference between a cash flow positive business and a company that burns cash. And it really is, like I said, it's completely transformative to a business like ours, especially which operates in multiple cities, in multiple continents, for multiple keywords. But I don't think there's any difference between a small business. Heck, you bumped into another rugby guy the other day, and he's starting a juice store, right?
Yep.
And I was like, Google my business right away. I was like, the first thing I told him, I was like, you got to get on it. He's like, you got to get on it. And I was like, well, they do some SEO for us in house. I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, Google my business right now, and then get on all the Uber Eats platforms that you possibly can. Mark your prices. I was like, that would be my model if I was doing what you're doing. And he's like, all right, yeah, just take it easy. It's his first time owning a business. I was like, no, don't take it easy.
Like I sent him a 20-minute video, just like auditing everything. Like you need to do this, this, and this,
Yeah.
all SEOs. So I love that you did that. That's
Russ is a cool dude, and
I
I'm
had the
sure his
same
new
reaction.
store is going to be the jam.
He was like, I want to find a PR person. I was like, PR, you need to rank first when someone Googles acai bowls in
Yeah.
your area. Like, what are you gonna do with PR, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, that was funny. That's PR. Funny you say that. That was one of the first things we thought of doing was like, get this PR out, let people know your story. But PR is expensive and it's not as effective. Like I said, I'm like, there's an active market of people looking for this service. I'm not reinventing something. So like we didn't reinvent the wheel. People charter boats all the time. People rent boats all the time. They're out there searching for it. I don't have to educate them. They're smart enough to know how to type in rent a boat in Tampa and find it. And then they're going to be looking at the map and they're going to be looking at the rankings and that's it. Like that's where the majority, it's crazy, but that's where the majority of searches happen. If I'm looking for an acai bowl near me, I'm going to look at the map and see what's there. And there may be 3 choices that populate in the Google map, section, and I'm going to look at each one. And maybe the closest one gets my business, or maybe the one that looks really delicious gets mine and has good prices. So yeah, that's funny. But I just talked to Russ on Saturday, and it's like, this is what you got to do. Like I got in his face super quick.
that's,
You know me.
awesome.
Um, and I don't hold back.
That's awesome. Yeah, cool. Well, yeah, that's very interesting, and I couldn't agree more. Okay, well, I've got a couple other things. Okay, so we've gone over kind of value and stuff. I guess a couple of questions that I would interest me is one is kind of results. We've gotten some pretty cool results. How would you kind of quantify the results that we've gotten in terms of numbers, growth, or just kind of overall, even just specific instances? Like looking at the SEO, what we've done, what's kind of the most valuable uh, result wise for the business, you know?
Yeah, so kind of going by some milestones here. You know, Anchor is in a really nice position being this. I'll go back to and refer to the 3 giants in our space, Anchor being the smallest of those 3, and we have some luxuries there. We are not yet at scale, so we can grow a new city really quick and say, hey, now we are going to offer boat and yacht rental and charters in Seattle, okay, or San Francisco, a market that's completely untapped. Well, yeah, that's great. There's some challenges there. Our playbook is we have to go out and we have to build some inventory there. We have to get some boat owners to sign up for our service. And then we have to rank and we have to get people. So PPC is going to be an immediate result. Well, guess what? In a new city where you have less inventory and you're newer, PPC is going to be really expensive, right? So it brings down not only the metrics of that city, but your overall metrics, and it gets a little expensive. So we start early. That's been introduced to our playbook recently. Is like, how quickly can we get a page spun up for this? How quickly can we get that page indexed and by Google and all the other crawlers? And then how quickly can we get some kind of quality rank? And that typically that first milestone is first page. We've been getting first page really quickly. Because we weren't, and this is where I'll kind of tip my hat to you. It's it's not just it's not just backlinking and then you're done. Like, we have to spin up a really quality page. You guys have found a way to spin up pages in seconds. It involved my IT team, helping build a tool within our system, but we can spin up a page for a new market literally in minutes now, using a combination. So like, you've helped us tap into Chat GPT, these super cool automation tools that punch out HTML code really quickly, and then boom, we've got a page spun up as fast as we can find images and identify the market. Like, it's that quick, it's insane. So if I said Seattle, I could probably challenge you and say, hey, you have 15 minutes to have a page spun up. And I'm pretty sure you could hit that goal. It wouldn't be the best page in the world, but it would be a page. So like, we're hitting our first milestone so much faster, which helps. Then then there's the investment in time and the fight. Okay, now we've got this thing spun up. We're on page 5, in minutes, in literally as fast as Google will index your page. We're on page 5 because it's a quality page. It's got good content. Zero authority yet, but it'll get there. Then we've been seeing a shortened time to getting to page 1. And so that means less is going. So super happy about that. Then it's okay. Now we're on page 1. We're in rank 6 or 5 or 8, whatever that is. And now it's the fight. That's the real dog fight. It's like, let's get to the top 3. And that's kind of what we judge it on. Are we in the top 3? Are we in the money spots, right? So we've got, I can't even throw a percent on the number of top 3 on the, let's call first page results. You're in 1,000% growth there because we've spun up so many pages in so many locations over the last year. So thousands of percents improvement year over year. And then top 3, we're in the hundreds of, like, we've added at least, 10 core pages, and not to mention other like smaller keywords that are party boat in Miami, like a little bit more specific, less volume in the traffic in the keyword. But so it's just insane. We're number 1 for yacht rental in Miami. A challenge. I actually challenged you. I owe you a free yacht charter. So feel free to take me up on that. So look, I put my money on the line. I put my money where my mouth is. I challenged Jan to get to the first page in Miami yacht rental keyword, which is super competitive, super high volume. And we got it. And we got it in pretty short time. So results based.
Well, now
Take a look for yourself, and yeah,
not only on the first page, but we've been sitting in position 1 now for 6 months.
For 6 months. And we haven't been investing a lot of money directly towards that. So it's got staying power, right? It's not like we're continuing to hammer it. We're actually happy with it sitting there, and we're going, okay, what else can we work on while that sits at number 1? And then if it drops a little bit, we might feed it again. But it's so super happy. So like, now that I'm confident, hey, we went out and won all these yacht rental keywords. That's the space our competitors weren't focused on because it was slightly smaller. They all hammered boat rental. Now we're hammering boat rental and we're climbing super fast. Chicago boat rental in 5 rank. After doing very little, we've had that page for definitely less than a year. Definitely less than a year, maybe less than 6 months. And we're in spot 5. And now we're going to be tackling and hammering that. And it's just, I couldn't be happier with what's happening in SEO. And then on top of that, so like, results are really important to me. Obviously, that's number 1. Like, if you said, Zach, I'm not having weekly meetings with you, I'm not talking to you, I don't want to report to you. I'm just going to get you results and you do that. Okay, well, I probably pay my bill every month and, sit on the sidelines. But that's not what this is. I feel one of the most important things, aside from results, is the fact that every week we have a meeting. It's not super long. It's set for an hour. We might meet for 30 minutes. We might meet for an hour and 15 minutes sometimes. But every week you come with, this is what I've done. This is what I'm about to do. This is how we're doing it. And it is so clearly mapped out that I don't think I ever have to worry from the Thursday I meet you to the Thursday I meet with you again. I don't have to worry about what you've been doing, what you are doing. Are you getting the job done? I'm not asking you when you're doing it. I don't call you up at 10 o'clock at night and say, hey, Jan, are you on this? I just know that I'm going to get the report. Sometimes things don't get done. Some things you're saying, hey, by next week, I want to have this done. Hey, Zach, it was a little bit more challenging than I thought. It's taken me a little bit more time than I thought. I'll have it done by next week. It's done by next week. That kind of stuff happens in business, but it's so transparent for me. I don't have to lose sleep over what's happening in my SEO. I don't. So I think that's a huge part. I know I'm a little off the topic of results,
Oh,
but I
but
think that's so important. Sure, results are number one. That's what everybody's going to want to see, but be patient with your SEO results first. It's not going to happen overnight. Um, if you don't give it at least 6 months, then I think you're doing yourself a disservice. And depending on what your keywords are, it may take longer, but give it 6 months to see a real result. Yeah, climbing from page 20 to page 10 is going to bring you no value, but hey, you climbed 10 pages, something's happening. But give it 6 months, give it sometimes a year, depending on how competitive it is, but really watch that compounding effect take place, depending on what your monthly budget is, depending on how much you're willing to put into it, depending on how big your business is, how many cities you're in, if you're local, whatever. But yeah, I think that's the one thing that I love as a business owner. I have to worry about every department. In some departments, I have to worry about more than others. This is an area I don't have to worry about because my meetings with you are crisp, concise, um, organized, well thought out, documented. And I'm just like, I know exactly what's happening over there. I give a marketing report on your behalf during our all hands meeting because I know what the heck's going on. So it's awesome. So super happy about the results. No doubt about that. Our traffic has our traffic has definitely grown month over month. Every month, I get the little report and we're catching up. I watch my competitors' keywords too and how well their traffic's going. I love seeing an up arrow on ours and a down arrow on theirs. Love seeing that. And so that's the results I'm looking at. I'm like, oh, look at us climbing while they're dropping. That lets us catch up faster. So yeah, again, super happy. Really tough keywords. And now we're going after even tougher keywords, and I'm confident we're going to win them. So yeah.
me too. And I love that you shared that. That is one of those things that that I have been trying to do. So it's cool, that it works. It's that, I know you've got 1.5 million things to worry about. And I know a lot of times being kind of the most motivated and driven person in your business, you always kind of end up just like thinking like, why did I have to come up with this idea? Or why did I have to plan the next steps? Or why did I have to bring this up? And you're always feeling like you have to step up to the plate and be the factor that kind of drives people forward. So that's kind of one of my goals. It has been one of my goals to just like, how can I step up to the plate and already think of the next, highest priority, best steps and present them to Zach. So Zach always knows like, wait, that's a great idea. Yeah, we should do that, And so you don't have to be sitting there, during the day and being like, man, like what can we do to improve, to improve our SEO strategy or something like that. So that's
Could have
cool.
said it better. That is a huge concern, especially for startups, right? Our we got to grow fast or we die fast. Simple as that. My business model does not work in a single city. It doesn't work. There's no way. I would have to charge, I would have to take a 75% commission off of the boat owner. They wouldn't make enough. The business model just wouldn't work. You have to be in several cities. You have to be in several. So you're thinking about a lot. And when I can just say, this is taken care of over here, I can actually fall asleep or I lose sleep over something else. Right. So that's pretty much it.
For sure. For
Uh,
sure.
but
Awesome.
yeah, I couldn't be happier with the organization that you bring to the table and the ideas that are sometimes something we can't commit to, right? Sometimes you're thinking bigger than we are, or faster than we are, or something that requires work from our IT team, our product team, our software developers. It's like they're busy building this other thing right now, and they can't give you that. But what can we do instead? You know, and it's been great. There's accountability. There's all kinds of intangible measurements here that keep me with you, right?
Awesome. Thank you. Now, I have kind of a couple more little questions just to
Sure.
wrap this up, but kind of going on the theme of Miami and just overall SEO results. So I know it's sometimes a little bit hard to track SEO revenue, but I know we have some pretty good data, right? And it might be more, maybe it's a little less, maybe a little more. We don't know necessarily, but two things. So one, we've you mentioned like we're sitting number one yacht rental in Miami. These are kind of two different questions, but we're sitting number one in yacht rental Miami. First question is going to be like, what? Why do you think? What do you think it is? Like, you're now a successful business owner that has a lot of experience with SEO, and your business is very good at SEO. What is the secret strategy? What does it take to be able to go into a market like Miami for yacht rental, which is the most competitive, one of the most competitive markets for yacht rental is Miami. And what does it take? Like, why is it that we're able to literally park in position one for 6 months straight with very little investment now after the last 6 months? Meanwhile, we have competitors like giant competitors. We all know who they are, and people that have just been there for like 10 years. They were all on the first page, and not only like sliding up past the people on the first page, but knocking them all down and parking one. What are the strategy tips? Like, what's the secret to that?
Well, I think it's a combination of things. So, it's funny, we have a lower domain authority score than our competitors. And that's as far as I understand it. So I'm not a marketer. I've learned quite a bit sitting on the sidelines, right, watching the game. But I've watched a lot of football games, and I'm not a football coach, right? Um, so what I think is happening is one, we prioritize the things that you guys, we looked at some of these measurements, and you're like, hey man, the website's slow to load. And there's not a ton of content in the right places. So we were open. We're like, okay, what is it going to take to get you there? And we kind of went out and went outside of our industry, and we looked at what other like marketplaces like Airbnb are doing. And we took a look, and they're like, okay, so they have this, we have a map page, right? So if you're searching on our site and you go to our search bar and you type in Tampa, boom, map page. Well, the map's got to load, all the images of the boats have to load, all of the prices, which are in real time, have to load. And so we were getting like this slow load issue. And then not to mention, there's not a lot of places to stick content, SEO content there. And so our strategy was we're going to spin up these pages that come before the map. And those are what we're going to optimize towards. So we created and this was a recommendation that you came up with, and I came up with. I said, what if we did this, and how do we do this? And you're like, this is what I would need. And you helped facilitate the requirements for this build. And then our product team went out and built this feature. And so basically now we can go in and like, what's the page we want to be? What's the keyword we want to win? And let's say we want to win boat rental Chicago or yacht rental Miami. Okay, boom, we're going to build a yacht rental Miami page. It's going to be populated with a few pieces of static information on there that are quick to load, not thousands, hundreds of images of boats, which are high resolution too, by the way. So we made every upload of images faster. We made these preliminary, if you will, landing pages that you hit before with a search bar functionality on them, which is pretty cool through a web component. And so we built like this secondary landing page. I was always so against landing pages and splash pages that are generic and all that. I'm like, no, I want to go straight to the map page, and I want to get them straight into search, and I want to get them straight onto, the purchase. It's like, that's not the best. And then we tested that, and it's actually converting better. Adding a page converts better than just sending them straight to the map page where they're like, here's the boats in your face. It's wild to me, but it worked. It was wild to me. It's not wild to me anymore. Now it's just the truth. So yeah, that was part of the thing. And so Yes, we had to invest some time in our software developers to build this landing page builder. Yes, we had to make sure that they were fast loading and building, content rich. And yes, it took a little bit of time, but that was, I think, a key factor. And again, it took some convincing from you to me. It took some convincing me for sure that that was a good strategy. We invested in it. It paid off. It's paying off now. That's our strategy worldwide. Every city. You want to have yacht charters in Croatia? We're going to spin up that page first, make it content rich. We might not even have good inventory there. We might not have good availability there. We might not have much, but we're going to spin up those pages, and they're going to be fast, and Google is going to like them, and they're going to like what's on them, and it's going to prioritize it over these other pages, which are probably built on, Wix or some other GoDaddy type site, and slower load speeds. They don't pay attention to all the fine mechanics that go into it and what makes a good SEO score. It's not just backlinks. It's not just the content that's on the page or the keywords that are on the page. It's not just the load time. It's all of those things combined plus more. And that's what we looked at. So we really took a very close look at all of these categories that are measured and made sure we gave you the tool you needed to do that. And it's a pretty cool. I honestly, it's like a software within a software that I feel like we could probably just package that up and ship it out to people who need it. Like it's that cool. Like here's a page spinner upper,
It's
and
awesome.
we built it for you and for the team. And that now it's the center of our strategy and working great.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was a really cool kind of addition. And we were able to even get some wins even before we had that addition. And that's just kind of taking everything on steroids. But kind of, I'd say what we've been doing is a bit of like more specific, better, and then more, right? So we're more specific. We know exactly what keywords we want to rank for. We create pages that are perfectly targeted for that keyword, right? And then better is we create the optimal page for those keywords that we go after. And that's kind of what you were talking about, from images, from what we put on the images, right? From the text, from every piece of content, the URL, everything about that page is perfectly designed, to fit the exact keywords that we want to go after. And we're being more specific than everyone else. And then we've also just been psychotic with our backlinks, So I think,
that was a moment, a point of contention for us for a moment is like, what's the perfect image? And like we spent, I think.
Yeah, I guess the last question would just be kind of revenue. So I know revenue numbers are a little bit jumpy, but revenue-wise, where would you put kind of growth? And so yeah, that was a point of contention revenue-wise, the value of this revenue, and kind of what
went on.
Your,
if you go to our pages and you type in like party boat rentals in Miami, you're gonna probably land on a page that shows party boat in Miami. So our customer acquisition cost, which is a measurement of the amount of money we spend on PPC.
Yeah, I guess the last question would just be kind of revenue. So I know revenue numbers are a little bit jumpy, but revenue-wise, where would you put kind of growth, the growth that we've seen revenue-wise, the value of this revenue, and kind of what your
okay, so it's down significantly. So it's like down 25%, which is massive for us. More than 25%. I think it's like close to 30%. This, right? So we're down significantly in our cost of acquisition. Measurement, our overall cost of acquisition has gone down because our SEO has improved, meaning SEO is getting gone down significantly. We're down the lion's share. Our goal is $200 percentage of the per leads. So people are searching organically, not clicking an ad, going kind of finding. We're at 165 organically, or by name or whatever. So it's down significantly. So it's our down 25%. Revenue is up, which is 30%. Massive for us. So not only is our customer more than 25% cost down, I think it's like close to revenue's up. So we're down significantly in a company like us. Huge inefficiency. So our overall cost of acquisition, I can't tell you how important it is to drive that number down and drive more CAC down, drive revenue up. Of the lion's share, it's getting a higher percentage. And this is in a year. Again, let me just remind everybody, we're in a year where boating is down right now. Kind of finding us. The boating industry is, we're by name, down a year. Actually, a down 2 years. Revenue is down and down 30%, and it's so not only is our customer really rough for some companies out there, revenues are all shrinking. Huge metrics for a company like us. Huge inefficiency. We're uniquely positioned to where I can't tell you how important it is to drive that number down and drive CAC down. We're not just seeing the new cities carrying all the way to the growth. We're seeing our metrics, and this is in a year. Cities that we've had for 5 years. Remind everybody, we're in a year where boating is down right now. The boating industry look at Miami in a down year. actually
Up
down 80% year over year. We've had these for years, and they're up 80% really rough for some companies out there. So we're all shrinking.
Revenue?
Anchor is growing up 80%. Yeah, GMV and revenue move together where we can because we have spin up new cities. Take rate. It's not fluctuating. But so we're up 80%. We're not just seeing the new GMV, which is top line, and the revenue for us. We're seeing the existing cities, right? The cities that we've had for 5 years, basically 6 years, growing. And yeah, and we did a look at Miami and Fort Lauderdale in the 80 up 80% year over year. We've had these for years. Growth. They're up 80%, getting traction in highly competitive cities
revenue
where there's a lot of up 80%. Yeah, GMV and revenue move there in the boating world because we're getting that constant take rate. It's not fluctuating. So up 80%, that's 80% GMV, which is top line, and then revenue for us is what we take, right? So that's a gross profit number, basically. We've got a nutcracker. And yeah,
nice.
And they're both up in the 80.
Okay, so that all
100%
thank you for all that
type growth.
I guess
getting traction in
only
highly
the last
competitive
couple questions
cities
is just one
where there's a lot of long-term relationships existing there in the boating world.
Well, one of my questions
we're getting that
be
business.
Okay, so we're kind of on track, right? Okay, so we're
very
ranking
very
at the
exciting
top for Miami, right? We hit
tough
Miami.
nuts to crack.
We got to position 1 in Fort Lauderdale. We've gotten to position 1 in Cabo, West Palm Beach.
Nice.
So some of the biggest markets. Okay, so that in Florida and some in the U.S. Now we've entered, San Diego. Yeah, I guess
Los Angeles,
Newport Beach. Last couple questions, just one first page, and this is all kind of within the last year. And one of my questions is going to be okay. So we're kind of on track. We're projecting that we're going to be in position 1, if not top first 3. Miami, right? We hit Miami by next summer. We got to position 1 in Fort Lauderdale. We've gotten just from like a business perspective, West if we could snap our fingers, so some of the biggest markets get to the top of like some of these. Now we've entered, San Diego, like Los Angeles. How much of it? And we've gotten first. How much of a game changer is within the last year? And for the business. So let's say if we get to number 1 in boat rental, we're projecting that we're going to be in I just want to kind of, if not first, paint the picture of like the difference between not being in a market at all versus getting number 1.
I'll give you some numbers.
Just from like a business perspective, if we could snap our fingers, and get to the top of like some of these big markets,
7 figures to 8 figures.
Like
it's from 8 figures.
How much of a
9 figures.
How much of a game changer is that for the business? So let's say if we get to number 1 in boat rental, Chicago. So I just want to kind of paint the picture of like the difference between not being in a market at all versus getting number 1.
I'll give you some numbers, but not as much as you think. 7-figure business right now. From just a pure, let's just take the difference. Anchor never added another boat to their inventory ever, and we just utilized 8 figures we have now to 9 figures. That's the difference. Just the staff to an extent. So our keywords we're playing in the type of volume that happens barely in markets in relatively, and that is the beauty of a tech company, right? And it can't all just be SEO. Flat. Other things have to grow with that. The majority of the work, but not as much as you think. Staff and so from just a pure. Let's just take if Anchor never added another boat between a 7-figure business that just utilized inventory we have now year over year, and just the staff to an 100 million to operating 999 million, 990 barely flat, just relatively, and that is the beauty of a tech company, sub $1 billion operating expenditures, and it can be higher than that. Technology does the majority of the work. And I'm not going to go so crazy. We need to add we could be $1 billion company doing some light things. We could there. Certainly could. There is that kind of volume. You're talking about the difference between industry. I will tell you that it opens up right now opportunity year over year. That is, and a 9-figure. 100,000 times 999 million, 999,000. That's like where we're sitting, and we're sitting in probably such a cool, unique opportunity. Sub $1 billion. We're getting good at some things, right? We're good at, and I'm not going to go so crazy to say we could be $1 billion company doing that. We could. So I feel like we've only certainly could. There is that kind of volume to tap the opportunity, and I feel like. But I will tell you, it opens up. We're looking at opportunity, inventory growth. That is year-over-year growth in the investment we put in this, and it's like next year we'll probably grow 50,000 times what we are now. Or like, and that's not like doing a lot. It's not like we're having to hustle and go find opportunity. 10 new cities. We're getting good at some things. No, if we just good at all the things we have now, I mean, it's insane. Literally 30 to 50%. So I feel like we've only. And that's a started to tap the opportunity, and I feel like it's a growth. Like, so yeah, it's looking at exciting. It's and that gets us to profit year-over-year growth in the investment. So we're as a tech company, we'll probably grow 55%. Loses money every year still somehow. Like, and that's not like Airbnb loses money. We're having lost money for a long time. These companies might be profitable now that they're on the stock to grow that. It's like, no, if we just use during their startup phase now, we could. They didn't just lose a couple $100,000 a year. 30 to 50%, billions. and that's a
billions of dollars
conservative
every year.
metric
Because they were grow up at all
you can
costs
say confidently.
mentality.
So yeah, it's very exciting. It's
Now,
it's
and that gets us
you
to
know,
profitability.
and
we're going to hit
so
escape
we're as
velocity
a tech company, you know, Uber
right when we cross
loses
from
money every
7
year
figures
still
to 8 figures.
somehow.
So
So
once we hit that $10 million
Airbnb
mark,
loses money.
we're
We
making
lost money for a
good
long time.
money.
These
at
companies
our
might be
business
profitable
with
now that they're
sizable
sizable
staff,
staff,
building
cool
cool
software
software
all
all
the
the time
during their
moving
startup
this thing,
phase,
making
they
it
didn't
more
just lose a
efficient.
couple
And then
hundred
we can
thousand
go
dollars
from,
a year.
I think the
They
jump
lost
from 10 to 20
billions,
is easier.
billions of dollars
than it
every year.
is from
Because they
5
were
to 10.
grow up at all
We're
costs.
7 to 10 mentality.
Jump from 10 to 20 for us is easy.
Now,
that they're you know,
so
and
that's
we're
what I'll
going to
say.
hit escape velocity
Wow. Yeah.
Right when
So
we cross
you're
from
saying
7
maybe
to
that sounds
8
outlandish,
figures.
but it's not.
So
Wow.
once we hit
literally
that
realistic,
$10 million
and that's why
mark,
building
we're
a
making
global
good
marketplace
money at our business with a
That makes a lot of
sizable
sense.
staff,
Yeah, you're saying
building
from
cool
singles
software
of
all the
millions,
time,
potentially
improving this
hundreds of
thing,
millions.
making it more efficient. And then we
And
can
you
go
know,
from,
I mean, I
I
could
think the
see
jump
that.
from 10
Obviously,
to
this
20
isn't the
is
same for
easier
every market,
than it
right?
is
Like
from
some
5 to 10.
businesses don't
We're
have
7
the
to 10.
amount of SEO
The jump
potential
from
that
10
we
to 20
have,
for
you
us is
know.
easier.
But yeah, with
So
this kind
that's
of
what I'll
SEO,
say.
I mean, it's like imagine Yeah. you rank
Yeah,
number
so,
one for boat
you're
rental
saying
and yacht
maybe that sounds
rental.
outlandish, but
You
it's
you,
not.
you start
It's
ranking number one for
literally
boat
realistic,
rental
and that's why I'm
in
building
Miami,
a
Fort
global
Lauderdale,
marketplace.
Chicago. You're number one in
That
Los
makes a lot of
Angeles,
sense.
San
Yeah,
Diego.
you're
I mean,
saying
that's
from
literally
singles
adding
more than
millions,
double,
potentially
more than
hundreds
double.
of millions.
If we did that, more than double our
And you know, I
business
mean, I
right
could see
now,
that. Obviously,
more
this
than
isn't the
double
same
for
for
sure.
every market, right? Like
And you're
some
talking
businesses don't
money
have the
hand over
amount of
fist.
SEO
Like
potential that
that's
we
what
have,
happens
you
with tech
know.
companies like us.
But
We lose money until we
yeah,
make a lot of money.
with this kind of SEO, I
So
mean, it's like
that's
imagine
huge for
you
us.
rank number one for boat rental and yacht
Yeah.
rental. You
I'll
start
tell you,
ranking number one for boat rental in Miami, Fort
my dad
Lauderdale,
owns a
Chicago. You're number one
printing
in
business,
Los
right?
Angeles, San Diego. I mean, that's
And I'm
literally
like,
adding
more than double,
your printer
more
is
than double.
going,
You know, if we did
because
that,
it does
more than
this kind
double
of stuff,
our
you know,
business
does
right
shirts
now.
like this and hats
More
like
than
this.
double for sure. I said,
And
and
your
your
dad,
your printer's running money hand over
24/7.
fist. Like that's what
No.
happens with tech companies like us.
Okay.
We lose money until
And
we
you
make
haven't
a
reached
lot of money.
capacity yet. You don't
So
have 3 shifts going on.
that's
with your printers,
huge
you
for
have
us.
one.
It's like you have a lot of capacity to
I'll
grow
tell you,
more and do more. And I go, life is a whole lot easier when your printers are running. My dad owns a printing business, and so yeah,
right?
he's not somebody who has always been super
like,
confident
are your
in
printers
investing in
going,
SEO.
you know,
And
like
he does,
you've been in
this
business
kind
for
of stuff. You know, he does
20
shirts
years
like this
plus,
and hats like
25
this.
years.
Like I said,
You could have been
know,
doing
Dad, your
this
printer's running
all along
24/7,
and
you
no.
would be, custom ink.
Okay.
Which is
Then you haven't reached capacity.
$1 billion.
You haven't reached
this. You don't have 3 shifts going on with your printers. You have one.
So that's kind of
like you have a
that's
lot
the
of
difference.
capacity
It's
to grow
it's
more.
the difference
and do
between
more. And
taking
I
your
go,
small
life
business
is a whole lot
that,
easier when your printers are running
probably put some
24/7.
money in your pocket and put
And
food on the
so
table
yeah, he's
to,
not somebody who has always been super confident in investing
you
in
never have to
SEO.
work
I'm like,
again.
look, you've been in business for 20
Yeah,
20 years,
I agree.
plus 25 years.
And one of the cool
Like,
things about SEO too
you
is
could
we
have been
talk
doing
about that
this
crazy growth.
all along,
And this isn't some like million
you
things
would
have
be,
to happen, shot
custom
in the
ink,
dark. Like we
which
have
is
to get ROAS on our
$1 million
ads
plus
that's
business.
uncomparable to anyone else. It's
You
like
know,
we literally
so
create these
kind of-
pages. They're already,
that's the
you know,
difference. It's
crawling
the-
up to
it's the
page one.
difference
We've done it
between
in
taking your
20
small
markets,
business
you know,
that,
already. And it's
probably
like
put
it's
some money in
so
your pocket
attainable.
and
Like
put the food
it's
on the
so
table
much
to
growth. It's such a nice arbitrage
you
of not
never have to
having
work
like
again.
expensive cost per clicks and worrying about
Absolutely.
margins. And it's like, and
it's
one of the
right
cool things
there,
about SEO too is
So
we
that's
talk
one of
about
the
that
crazy
crazy
things if you're in
growth,
the
right?
right
And
market.
this isn't
SEO
some like
is like-
million things
it's like a
have
little
to happen.
cheat code.
Shot
Not
in
a
the
lot of
dark.
people
Like,
we have to get
nearly as
ROAS
good
on
at
our
SEO
ads
as they are
that's
uncomparable to
PPC.
anyone else.
I don't know why.
We literally
so
create these
vague.
pages.
You have a
They're
million
already,
like,
you know,
competing in
crawling up
PPC
to
is
page
so
one. We've done it in
hard.
20
Everybody's,
markets, you
you know,
know,
these industries
already.
is doing such a
And
good
it's like,
job.
it's so
Mom and pop's
attainable.
do
Like,
it too.
it's
So you're not
so
just
much
competing against professionals. You're
growth.
competing
It's such
against
a nice
uneducated mom
arbitrage
and
of not
pop
having like
who don't know how to
expensive
do the
cost per
science
clicks and worrying
behind
about margins.
PPC,
And it's like,
and they're
it's
just willing
right
to spend.
there. You
They'll
know,
go.
that's one of
They're
the
like,
crazy things.
they're like,
right
I spend
SEO. It's like
I seen
it's like a little
single
cheat
boat
code.
owners
Not a lot of people
spend
are
$3
nearly as
grand
good
a
at SEO
month
as they are
on
at PPC.
SEO on
I don't know
PPC.
why. I think because it's
And I'm
so
like,
vague.
Why?
You have a million
Why?
companies.
What's your
PPC
return?
is so hard.
Like, why are you doing that? What
these
could
industries are doing
possibly
such a
be
good
your
job.
return?
And
Mom and pop,
there's not enough
so you're not just
volume
competing
for you
against
to make that
professionals. You're
sense of
competing
that.
against the uneducated mom and pop.
I
Who
don't
know
have
how
to
to do
pay
the
15%
science
commission to a
behind
broker. I'm like,
PPC.
yeah, but
And
that's
they're
a
just willing to
tangible amount
spend.
based on
They'll
results.
go.
You're just paying
They're like,
$3,000
I
and not
spend
really measuring.
I
What's your
seen
customer
single boat
acquisition
owners
cost? And they go,
spend
what's that?
$3 $30,000 a month on SEO.
So you're
PPC,
competing against these
and I'm like,
people
what?
who
Why?
have no clue what
What's
they're
your
doing because
what's your
Google's
return?
made it so quick.
Like, why are you doing that? What could possibly be your return?
Well, just boost my
You know,
ad.
there's not enough
Boost
volume
here.
for you to make
our
sense of
algorithm
that.
which means
Well,
I'm gonna overspend and
you know,
drive.
I don't have to
the
pay a
auction
15%
cost up for
commission
everybody
to a
else.
broker. I'm like,
Yeah,
trying to
but that's
drive
a
that
tangible
down.
amount based on results.
So
You're just
yeah,
paying
because that's just
$3,000 and
competing
not
against
really
the pros.
measuring. I'm like,
Competing
what's your
against
customer acquisition
the
cost?
very
What's that?
unprofessional
Who just
like,
dumped cash thinking it differently.
so you're competing against
SEO
these
is different.
people, right?
who have
SEO
no
is,
clue what to do
I
because
own this spot.
Google's
It's
made
my
it so
real estate.
easy, and so is Facebook.
Get off my turf
to
type
go,
of thing. So
well,
yeah,
just boost my
it's
ad,
nice. And
boost
here,
or use
seasonality
our
perspective
algorithm
as well,
which
which we
means I'm going to
experience in the building
overspend
industry,
and
as you
drive
can
the
imagine.
overall auction cost
It
up.
helps
Everybody
you
else who's
not spend
trying to
money
drive that cost
in
down.
PPC
During
so
seasonal
you're not
lows.
just competing against the pros. You're competing
we
against
see trends
the
of when
very
charters actually go out versus
who just dump
a different
cash
trend when
being
charters
indifferent.
actually book.
SEO
So
is different.
So for example,
Right? SEO is
I own this
September
spot.
through
It's my real estate. December are kind of
Get off my
slow
turf
times
type
when
thing.
people
So, yeah,
actually book.
it's nice.
But
from a
SEO
seasonality
can
perspective
keep
as
you
well, which we
in
experience in the
play
boating industry,
year
as you can
round
imagine.
without overspending.
It helps you
not
during
spend
those
money
in those specific
in
markets
PPC
during that time.
during
It's like,
those
why am I
seasonal
advertising
lows?
for Lake of the
So
Ozarks in Chicago?
We see
in
trends of when
November
charters actually go out
of the previous,
versus
like a different
maybe one or
trend
two
when
people are
charters
booking
actually
their
book.
summer.
So,
And yeah, I
so
could
for
get
example,
a couple of bookings out of it
September
that are early
through
and
December
sure,
there's some
kinda
value in that.
slow,
But the
times
juice
when
ain't
people
worth the squeeze.
actually
We need to be
book.
there in the
But
February and March.
SEO
when people are
can
doing
keep you
gangbusters and
in
finding what they're
play
going to do that
year
summer
round
and
without
that's when the value's there.
overspending
So
during
yeah,
those,
it's
you
funny.
know,
It just
specific
keeps you in
markets
the fight
during that time.
It's like, why am
24/7.
I
It's kinda,
advertising
you
for Lake
know,
of the Ozarks in Chicago
your
in
little
November?
your
of the
little
previous,
maybe
clone
one or
that's
two
out there
people are
just
booking
fighting a
their
war for
summer,
you that
and
you're
yeah, I
kinda at
could
home
get a
sleeping
couple
in
of
bed.
bookings
Yeah,
out of
it's
it
nice.
that are early and
Absolutely.
sure there's some value in that.
Well, Zach, thank
But
you
the
so
juice
much
ain't
for
worth the
your
squeeze. We
time
need
so
to
far.
be
I
there
think
in
these
the
insights are
February and
really
March when
cool.
people are
You
doing
know, Anchor is
gangbusters and
definitely
finding what they're going to do that summer.
a very
And that's when
cool
the
company.
value
I
is
think it
there.
has a lot of potential,
So
and
yeah,
and you
it's
got a lot
funny.
of
It just
good,
keeps you in the
team
fight
members. And
24/7.
I'd say
It's
for being
kinda
kind
like,
of
you know,
still a smaller,
your little
a smaller company, definitely
your
punching
little
above. We're punching above
clone
our
that's
weight
out there
class,
just
and
fighting
a
a
lot of
war
these
for
wins
you
are
that you're kind of at home
very
sleeping in
exciting. So I
bed.
commend
You
you
know,
on
it's nice.
that. My very last question
Absolutely.
is: I offer
Well,
free
Zach,
thank you so much for
free
your time
SEO,
so far. I think these insights
plans,
are really
so free
cool.
full SEO
Roadmaps
is
and
definitely,
audits. Two people, a very cool company. I think it has a lot of
that might just be
potential
interested in
and you
SEO.
got a lot of
So
good,
if you're talking to some
team
other
members and
startups or
I'd
let's
say
say
for being kind
small
of
to
a still a
medium-sized
smaller
kind of businesses that are thinking
thinking about
company,
SEO,
definitely punching above.
do you think that's something
punching
worth
above our
potentially
weight class
exploring,
and,
getting
you
a
know, a lot of these
roadmap?
wins are,
Very
what are your
exciting.
thoughts
So
on
I
it?
commend you on that. My very
Yeah,
last question is: I
wouldn't
offer
you?
free SEO, free SEO
It's not
plans, so free
I
full
would just say
SEO
the days of the
roadmaps
white
and
pages, the
audits.
days of
Two
billboard
people,
ads, the days of that it is like
people
I
that might
don't
just be
invest
interested in
any
SEO.
print,
So if you're talking
nothing.
to some other
I don't even think I
startups
have
or let's
business cards
say
right now. To be
small to
honest with you, which
medium
is a
sized
mistake.
kind
I
of
should have
businesses
business
that are
cards, but I don't think I even
thinking
have
about
any.
SEO,
Maybe somewhere around here.
do you think that's something
But
worth potentially
it is all
exploring, getting a
digital.
roadmap?
It is all if
You
you
know, what are
unless
your
you have
thoughts on it?
reinvented something or invented some new category.
Why
You
wouldn't
know,
you?
but if you're in a more traditional business, like yes, I'm a lawyer. It's not people look for
I would
lawyer
just say the
services.
days of the white
yes, I
pages,
print the days
clothes.
of billboard
People look
ads,
for
the days of
clothes
that.
printing.
It is
They
like
are
I don't
looking for
invest in
printer
any
first. They're
print.
out there searching
Nothing.
it.
I don't
Yeah,
even think I have business cards right now.
Word of
to be
mouth
honest
is
with you, which is a mistake.
fantastic.
I should have business cards,
SEO
but I don't think I
is
have
so
any happening
important.
either.
Maybe somewhere
I
around
would
here.
100% get that
But
audit. It is all digital.
You might not even know
It is all
that
if you
unless
what
you
your
have
ceiling
reinvented
is.
something or
And
invented
SEO will
some new
help
category.
that audit
You
may
know, but
help
if you're
you
in a
get a better idea
more
of
traditional business, like yes, I'm
oh
a
wow,
lawyer,
so I could be
for
getting
lawyer services.
that.
Yes,
I could be
print
making that kind of
clothes.
money. And
People look for
monthly
clothes
versus
printing.
what the
They
kind of money
are
I'm
looking
making
for
now.
printers. They're out there
Absolutely
searching it.
insane.
Yeah,
at least understand your
word of mouth
keywords,
is
right?
fantastic.
It'd be one of the first things I did after incorporation.
I would 100% get that
I'd be
audit.
figuring out a way to spin up landing
you
pages.
might not
and I'd
even
be
know
finding a
the-
company, probably could
what
just
your
come back to
ceiling
you because I
is.
know you.
And
SEO will help
that
and
audit
trust you
may
and
help you
get
get a
good
better
results with
idea
you.
of. But yeah,
Oh wow,
why wouldn't you?
So
Why
I could
would
be
you
getting
not take that
that
free audit?
I could
Why
be
would you
making
not
that kind
learn
of
from
money
it? Why would you not go
monthly
explore? Versus
it's
what the
pretty
kind of money
cool
I'm
to
making
look at
now. I would highly
absolutely
recommend looking
insane.
at your competitor.
At least
Your
understand your
biggest
keywords,
competitor,
right?
and the one next to you.
It'd be one of the
Not,
first
like,
things I did
chase
after
the big
incorporating.
guy.
Forget about the
I'd
dude
be
next to
figuring
you.
out a way to spin
You're going to
up
be
landing
doing more
pages,
work
and I'd
than
be
them.
finding
You're
a
going to be
company,
outworking
probably
them,
just come back
outpacing
back
them.
to you
If
'cause
you don't
I
have
know
that
you.
mentality, then
And trust you and get
cut
good
out for
results with
business.
you.
Look at the big guys.
But yeah,
What are they
why
doing
would
right?
you? Why would you not?
What are
take
they?
that
You
free
know,
audit? Why would you
and
not learn
they're
from it? Why would you
probably
not go
they
explore?
probably have a big marketing
It's
team
pretty cool to look at. Like, I would highly recommend looking at your
where they
competitor.
are. So that's
your
what I would look
biggest
at. That's my
competitor
recommendation.
and the one
Don't
next to you.
Ignore a free
Like,
audit.
chase the
because it
big
sounds like
guy.
a
Forget
hook
about
to
the
get
dude
you
next
in.
to
It
you.
probably
You're going to be
is,
doing
but
more
there's
work than them.
value
You're
in
going to
it.
be
There's
outworking them,
information in
outpacing
it.
them. That if you
You're
don't
gonna
have
learn
that
a lot
mentality,
about
then
how
you
the
just
world
aren't,
actually works right
you
now.
know, cut out for business.
Absolutely.
Look at the
Thank
big
you so
guys.
much,
What are
Zach.
they
I really
doing right?
appreciate it.
What are they, you know,
Sure.
and,
Yeah,
and
I'm gonna
they're
I'm
probably
gonna edit
they
this
probably
part out,
have
man.
a
But
big
thank you,
marketing
man. That
team
was
that's
so
smart
awesome.
and
You're
knows what
very
they're
obviously
doing,
being a
and that's what I
CEO
would,
and stuff like that. You know how
where
to
they are.
talk and you
So
have
that's what
good
I would look at. That's my
business
recommendation.
insights and stuff. So I think that adds a whole
Ignore
other
a free
value because
audit
when
because it
someone's just
sounds
out
like
there
a hook
like,
to
oh
get you
yeah,
in.
this
It
is the best thing
probably
ever, you
is,
know, it's
but
bullshit.
there's
But to see
value
someone
in
that
it. There's
actually
information in it.
knows what
You're
they're
going to learn
talking
a
about,
lot about
takes their
how the
business
world
seriously,
actually
and is
works
able to
right
look at
now.
stuff critically, you know,
Thank
and
you
then
so
share a
much,
positive
Zach. I
perspective.
really
I just think it
appreciate
holds
it.
so much more weight, man. So I
Sure.
appreciate
Yeah,
that.
you
I'm gonna edit this part out, man. But thank you, man. That was so awesome. You're very obviously being a CEO and stuff like that. You know how to talk and you have good business insights and stuff. So I think that adds a whole other value because when someone's just out there like, oh yeah, this is the best thing ever, you know, it's bullshit. But to see someone that actually knows what they're talking about, takes their business seriously, and is able to look at stuff critically, you know, and then share a positive perspective, I just think it holds so much more weight, man. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, you bet.